Welcome all my dear students to Sudharma's Physics classroom. We are on the chapter Reflection of Light from class 10 Physics. So in the previous videos we have discussed up to the plane mirror image formation, and today we are going to start with spherical mirrors. It's a very interesting topic. Spherical mirrors are very common nowadays. Try to understand where do we see this kind of spherical mirrors and what are these spherical mirrors. Let's start from our kitchen itself. The spoon we are using it every day, right? That represents these two types of mirrors. Have you ever thought of this before? We are using a spherical mirror for eating our food, right? How it is related with mirrors? See, any smooth surface which can reflect the light, right? Wherever image formation takes place, we can consider that as a mirror, right? It need not be the mirrors we always buy from the market. So this is a real mirror. See, if there is no scratches, it works like a perfect mirror. So there is a surface which is curved inward and another surface which is it's bulging outward, right? The back side of the spoon. So this back side of the spoon, so here this is curved inward, that is concave shape. Concave. The bulging backward portion, right? That is convex part. Okay, so we have two types of spherical mirrors, concave and convex mirrors, and you will be wondering why these kind of pictures are kept here. Definitely, if you have a very nice newly bought spoon at home, you can try this. Your face, you can see this kind of image is formed within that mirror, within that spoon. You try moving the spoon backward and forward in front of your face. You see wonders there because you see your face size is increasing or decreasing at some particular positions. Sometimes you may see your head is upside down. So play with those mirrors. Okay, so this is easily available at home. That is why I'm saying, because otherwise we will have to buy a spherical mirror from the shop. Right, we have these mirrors at home. So why this example of a spoon? You will be wondering that. So because you will be able to understand what is a concave shape and what is a convex shape. So spherical mirrors are the usual mirrors, but its reflecting surfaces are curved in nature. So if the reflecting surface is curved inward, see, when I draw these kind of lines, that is the back side of the mirror. Already we are familiar with these types of representation in plane mirror. So this is a mirror which is curved inward, that is a concave, like a cave, right? Cave. So reflecting surface is curved inward. If the reflecting surface is bulging outward, this is how we represent a convex mirror. Okay, so bulging outward reflecting surface is a convex mirror. If the reflecting surface is curved inward, that is a concave mirror. Just concrete this in your mind. This is very important. First of all, you should be able to identify what type of mirror it is. Okay, so if the reflecting surface is curved inward, that is a concave shape, that is a concave mirror. If the reflecting surface is bulging outward, that is a convex shape. So from the example of the spoon, we can say that the part of the spoon through which we take the food, right, that is the concave surface because that is curved inward. The backside of the spoon is a convex surface. So let's come to the point, what are these spherical mirrors? Spherical mirrors are part of spherical reflecting surfaces. Okay, in plane mirror it is a plane reflecting surface. Here it is a spherical reflecting surface. If you have a spherical reflecting surface, if you cut it into small, right, so one part of that acts like a mirror. So spherical mirrors are the part of spherical reflecting surfaces. So always remember, it is a part of a sphere. That is most important. It's a part of a sphere. Now, coming to the terms related with spherical mirrors, the terminology is related with spherical mirrors. See, every spherical mirror will have a geometrical center. That geometrical center is called as the pole of the mirror. Very important, it's called as the pole of the mirror. And we know that these mirrors are cut from a sphere, right? See, the spherical mirrors are cut from a sphere. That sphere will be having a center. That center is called as the center of curvature C. You can see here. So pole, center of curvature is represented by C. So center of curvature means the center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part. Okay, so that's about the center of curvature. The distance between the center of curvature and the pole of the mirror is called as the radius of curvature. Okay, so the geometrical center of the mirror is called as the pole. The center of the spherical reflecting part of which the mirror is a part, that is called as a center of curvature. And the distance between the pole and the center of curvature is known as the radius of curvature of the mirror. So that is a distance, right? So radius of curvature will be expressed in centimeters, okay, for small mirrors. Now, if I have a ray of light coming which is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it passes through a point on the principal axis. Once again, if a ray of light comes parallel to the principal axis, so what is that principal axis? Principal axis is a straight line which passes through the center of curvature and pole of the mirror. You can see the axis here, right? A straight line passing through the center of curvature and the pole of the mirror, that is called as the principal axis. So if a ray of light passing parallel to the principal axis, after reflection from the concave mirror, it passes through a point, right? That point is called as the principal focus of the concave mirror. So remember, this is a concave mirror. I'm talking about concave mirror. Okay, so it's passing through a point on the principal axis, that is called as the principal focus of the concave mirror, that is represented by capital letter F, and the distance between the pole and the focus, that is called as the focal length. So here two lengths we have already learned. One is the radius of curvature and the other one is the focal length. For spherical mirrors, there is a relation. The radius of curvature R is equal to 2F. The first formula from this chapter, right? In reflection of light, we have seen I is equal to R. So the formula in formula type we are studying, it is R is equal to 2F. This is the first equation of this chapter, right? Very simple formula. The radius of curvature is going to be twice the focal length. So remember, whenever you draw a diagram, you have to make sure when you mark the center of curvature at a point, at the midpoint of that you have to mark the focus. If you do all these small practices, the ray diagrams you're going to do, it's going to be really easy and amazing. Okay, so the terminologies related with spherical mirrors are the pole, center of curvature, radius of curvature, focus and focal length. Now let's see what about this convex mirror. So this is a convex mirror. The reflecting surface is bulging outward. So here also it has a pole. See, since it is bulging outward, this spherical, it's a part of a spherical reflecting surface, right? So the center of the spherical reflecting surface is going to be this side, right? Now, when it is at that center, right, the focus, we have seen that in the case of a concave mirror, when a ray of light parallel to the principal axis hits the mirror, it passes through a point on the principal axis. That point is called as the principal focus. But this case, in the case of a convex mirror, it is slightly different. This is called as a diverging mirror. Diverging, you know what is the meaning of diverging, right? So after reflection from the convex mirror, it appeared to diverge from a point on the principal axis. That point is called as the principal focus. Other terms, radius of curvature, focal length, everything is the same. Radius of curvature is the distance between the pole and the center of curvature, and focal length is the distance between the pole and the focus. There is no change in that, but only in the case of focus. The focus in the case of a convex mirror, it's a virtual focus, because here the rays of light are not coming to the focus. It's not reflecting towards the focus. Okay, so it appeared to diverge from a point. When a ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis hits the convex mirror, it appeared to diverge from a point on the principal axis. That is called as the principal focus of the convex mirror. So convex mirror is called as a diverging mirror. Diverging. It's a diverging mirror. And concave mirror is a converging mirror. Okay, concave mirror is a converging mirror. Always remember this. These are very important topics. So concave mirror is converging. Converging means it converges the light rays to a point. Convex mirror is a diverging mirror. So these are the main important topics related with spherical mirrors. Hope you understood. Draw the diagram and make notes on this. And in the coming chapter, the most important things are waiting for you. It's the ray diagrams and the image formation by spherical mirrors. It's a very, very, very important topic. Even for higher studies, this is required. Okay, so don't miss the classes. If you are first time to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates on the classes. I'll be uploading the classes on a regular basis. Ray diagrams, in the coming class, you will have to come with a scale, a sharpened pencil, eraser. Okay, all those geometry box tools are required here because we are going to construct the ray diagrams. So in case of plane mirror, it was really easy. Just in front of the mirror we draw an object, but here at different positions of the mirrors in front of the mirror we have to identify where the image is formed. Okay, so come with the notebook, scale and pencil in the next class. So we will be drawing the ray diagrams together. Okay, so hope you understood today's class. So see you soon with the ray diagrams of the spherical mirrors, both concave and convex mirrors. Thank you for watching. Bye.